Short, Scary Stories. The Terror of the Otherland by username Roaming Ray. There is a faraway place where rotten things roam, great beasts that travel between worlds, journeying, consuming and scavenging. They are known by many names. Some call them void spawn, massive worms made out of torn flesh that seek substance for their hive. They slither through the air with disgusting speed and grace. The smallest among them leap down men's forts and eat them within. The largest consume cities. They venture all around, tearing worlds to shreds. They kill families, farmers, kings and soldiers, all. They rot the worlds they touch. They decay and multiply and breed and rot, and turn from the bright green lands damp and grey, full of the hives invading life. Egg patches and parasite nests stretching across ruined cities. But the most terrible place of all is the first home, their place of origin, the hive from hell. They rip apart the entrails and organs of their victims and secrete a substance to turn them into building stuff. With this grisly mortar, they build their hive larger and larger, ever expanding. A massive horrid box stretching up and across forever in every direction, riddled with pores big and small for the creatures to fly through. A castle made of gore, a nest made of suffering, a fortress made out of the corpses of countless animals and people. Billions must have died from their keep. The smell of it all is so awful as to make its nature known. Within this horrid place, 1,000,000 creatures live. Insects and parasites, worms and centipedes, blood-sucking flies the size of tanks, and eldritch monsters the size of ships. No one knows what lies in the centre of the hive. Many have ventured, daring to find. Their corpses now make up the building's walls. But I have met one traveller, one who had ventured in and returned, a researcher by nature. He told me his story. He spoke about how he crawled over the decaying corpses of millions on a quest for science, how he saw the worms, how they fed, how they devoured. Apparently, all of the beasts were almost none quite the same. Some preferred to digest their prey alive by spitting acid and drinking their remains. Others had incredible rows of complex bones within them that seemed to dissect whatever they consumed, almost as if they were studying what they ate. What an uncanny intellect some of them had. But, he said, of all the things he'd seen, one detail had disturbed him greatly. Most of the tunnels were cold and damp, but the officers, the higher in rank and more powerful of the void spawn, their tunnels were warm, somehow heated in a way he couldn't understand. It was only after several moments that he inspected the grisly wall made of gore around him and realised what had made the tunnel so cosy, what provided all of the heat. The bodies that made up the walls. They were breathing.